Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you're having a great time. Tonight is Tell It Tuesday. Let's get going. Actually, I have to tell you that it's October, so it's Tell It Scary Tuesday. So, if you have any issues with TMI or maybe some rougher details, then I'm going to recommend that you check out another channel this week rather than mine. I'm going to recommend today Mama Beach or Harpin Bags or Happiness Sparkles. If you are looking for how to clean my vachetta, or I need to store my bags, or I want to find a Louis Vuitton that's pre-loved but in good condition, I really am your girl. It's not this particular video. So all of you who are uncomfortable with other details, just scary stories with really bad information in it, I'm going to recommend just go check out some of the old videos. Check out some other people's YouTube channel. And I promise I'll be back doing the same thing in just a little bit later on this week. So no big problem. So I'm going to go give you time to do that. Okay, the people that are left, are they all gone? Okay, good. Okay, let's get started. So, here I was. My mom was traveling behind me. I'm coming back from Pennsylvania. And because she was traveling with me, when I go by myself, I stop when I want to stop, or I go when I want to go. And it's a little bit easier because you kind of get to do your own thing when you're traveling with someone, especially someone who's not a spring chicken. You have to stop a little bit, especially my mom. She's got some rougher hips, and we have to walk that out, and it's fine. It's not a problem at all, but I kind of try to look for places so we can do that. So we're driving down 15 in Pennsylvania, and I saw this sign. I hope it was 15 in Pennsylvania. It's all kind of a blur now, but we're driving down this road, and there was a sign that said Apple Orchard Creamery. Well, my mom wanted to hit one more orchard before we left, because you kind of tend to get greedy about apples, or at least my family does. So I saw it and went, oh, Apple Orchard and a creamery. So maybe they've got some, I don't know, like apple ice cream or something, but there's apples there. So I just kind of took the detour, and Mom followed me, and we stopped. It was a farm, like a dairy farm, and I didn't see any apples around. Come to find out, the town's name is Apple Orchard. Truly, Apple Orchard is the name of the town. So we get there, and you guys, I don't know if I told you the first part of this or not, but we got in there, and I'm looking for cheeses and anything that I could just, like gifts that I could pick up. And I spotted in this one refrigerated section, there was a I don't know if it was a gallon. It was a jar, a glass jar of milk, and it said raw milk. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I grew up on a dairy farm, so I was very excited. And I walked up to the lady and I said, "What does raw milk mean to you?" And she said, "Well, it comes from the cow into the bottle and then on the shelf." I went, "Oh my goodness, I didn't even know you guys could do this. I'm so excited. I'll take a gallon." And she said, "Well, I have to tell you," or "I'll take a bottle," whatever the bottle was. And she said, "I got to tell you, there's a couple of dollars for the glass, and then when you return it, like, we just keep giving you new glass." And I'm like, "Well, I live in Florida, so you're probably not going to see that back, and I'll just keep it as a souvenir. Thank you so much." So I did it. I put it in the cooler, and I had a really huge, 6-day extreme marine cooler from Coleman. So I really was set. I had it full of ice. I actually had 2 coolers. Let's not even play about it, because I don't mess around when I go up there. I get my stuff from Wegmans. There's all kinds of cheeses that I pick up on farms. We had 3 gallons of apple cider that had been like freshly cidered. And so there we have it. I made room for this wonderful container of raw milk, and I also found some raw cheese. I can't tell you, because that's what I grew up on. When we would get to the farm, I remember my grandma handing me like a pickle jar that obviously was emptied and cleaned, but she would say, you know, take that to the barn and get some milk. And I'd run down there and I'd go, Unc, we need some milk. And you know, he would, you know, disinfect it, and then he would dip it in the big bin thing where they kept the milk. It was this big steel container, and there was always this paddle that would keep the milk moving. I mean, it was just a fascinating process. And they'd dip it, and then we'd go up and we'd drink milk. So I mean, I grew up on this wonderful non-homogenized milk. Really fantastic tasting. Now, I'm sure if you didn't grow up on it, it's probably really pretty gross right about now, but really is good stuff if you're from that kind of walk in life. I could not wait to get home. Now, there was thing I was a little worried about because it was whole milk. Sometimes, like, it's not even whole milk, it's raw milk. So sometimes it might not go well as an adult, and it had been a while since I had drank any. So I waited. My mom goes, we got a hotel. My mom goes, do you gonna want to drink some milk? And I go, no, I'm gonna wait till we get home because I don't want anything going on while I'm traveling. So I get home, I sleep, I wake up the next morning, I jump up and get ready for work, and I think, oh, I've got the milk. So I went in there and I poured a glass of raw milk. I was so excited. I mean, giddy. And then I was like, oh, my apples. So I went and grabbed an apple. So I've got, and chopped it. So it's like slices so I could just eat it. I had my apple, I had my milk, and I had a napkin. And I went into my office and I fired up the computer. I got everything ready and I went to work and I drank my milk. And I was like, oh, this is so good. And then I realized, wow, it's been so long since I've had really whole milk. I'm like, that is really thick milk. I kind of not sure that it was as awesome as it was when I was a kid. Still really awesome though. And then I ate my apple, num, 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 num. And I was feeling okay. It was good. I was happy. And I went, oh gosh, that was a really good breakfast. And then I dialed into a meeting because I'm at work. So I dial in, put it on the speakerphone, and we were all having a good conversation when my stomach said, and I was like, uh-oh. Now this meeting was only 30 minutes long. So I looked at the clock and I had already gone through 20 minutes of this meeting. I had 10 minutes to go. And I thought, okay, you got this. It's really all right. I put myself on mute because I had to answer, thankfully, I had to answer something really quickly. And I focused myself back on the meeting when the second wave hit. And when the second wave hit, all I could think of was, you is kind, you is strong, you only have 7 minutes left, you can do this. And then it passed and I was okay again. I could focus on the meeting. And then came the third wave, a little bit stronger, and my stomach noises were getting a little louder, a little more turbulent, and I just kept breathing, fanning myself, because don't even pretend that y'all haven't been at this moment at some point in time in your life. You know that sweat that you get? Okay, I was there. Okay. And then it passed. And I answered some questions. And then it happened. 4 minutes before the meeting was over, my stomach literally went brrr, brrr. And at first I went, oh, what is that? But it was very regular. It was brrr, brrr. And it did it 3 times. And I realized that my intestines had made a phone call to my butt to say, hey, there's some stuff headed your way, and you might want to get somewhere. And then I felt the most incredible stomach pain ever. And I had to send a message real quick to my manager, said, I gotta get this call, okay, bye. And I ran to the restroom because it was the worst thing I have ever experienced, and my stomach hurt so bad. And I thought I might die before it was over. And I realized suddenly that as we become older, we can't eat and do the things that we did when we were young. Certainly, I can barely cartwheel like I can't cartwheel like I used to, but I can barely do a really good cartwheel anymore. And one shouldn't drink raw milk if they haven't done it in years. Now, I can tell you that sometimes I have been known to have an issue with apples when I'm in the apple orchard and I've eaten 3 of them and I haven't had anything for food. So I didn't know at that moment if I was lactose intolerant, apple intolerant, lactapple intolerant. I don't know, but I can promise you that I left that milk alone. The raw cheese is still sitting in the fridge, and I'm afraid. I am truly frightened of putting a piece of that cheese in my mouth. And my darling husband, a couple days after that, was like, are you going to drink this milk? Because he's someone who doesn't like to see things spoiled. And I understand that. I kind of know I understand where he's coming from on that. So he's like, you going to drink that milk? And I went like, no. Like, how about you drink that milk? He was like, no, I'm going to pass. So unfortunately, I got one really good glass out of it. It really was wonderful. But the scary thing is I have to find some way to tell my uncle, who owns the dairy farm, that I cannot drink rogue raw milk anymore. I don't know how I'm going to do it. Anyway, that was my scary story. It was very scary to me, people. It was very rough. It was touch and go for a while. Sweat was lost. I prayed for sins I couldn't commit before I die. I was very ill. And I'm okay now, and I'm glad and happy to tell you the story, which I hope you enjoyed. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I promise I will get back to serious business very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.